here with Maritza Britsiak. I've pronounced that.
It's okay.
Is that okay? Okay. She's a filmmaker behind the Lurking Man competition at our festival in Berlin. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you.
I have to say, I want to publicly say thank you very much for the invitation. Yeah. My name is Maritza Britsiak, and I'm the executive producer, co-writer, editor, and lead actress of the film. And I'm very, very excited to bring it here because this is our, not just Berlin, Germany premiere, but it's our European premiere. So it's pretty huge for us to be on this side of the Atlantic.
And I've seen the film, it's a great film.
Thank you.
If you could just give us a, obviously I know about it for the benefit of our viewers,
of course.
What the film's actually about. And then we'll go into the whole story behind this.
Absolutely. I can give you the brief summary. It's about an alcoholic, abusive mother, played by myself, who is given a chance at redemption if she accepts death's offer. That's the short version.
Yes, don't give anything else away.
No, I don't want to give anything away. I can tell you it's the perception of the film, because it deals with supernatural imagery. It's not really strictly horror. There are elements of mystery and suspense and thriller. But really, if I have to define it, it's more of a family drama, because it deals with the mother and daughter and the family, and also addiction and morality. That's one of the major attractions I had when making the film. It deals with good versus evil. And what happens when you continue feeding the negative eventually will consume you. So that's really one of the reasons I loved the script when it came to me.
And I know we've spoken at length, but again, if you could just explain where you come from. That sounds really oversimplifying it, but in other words, if you just give us a brief history of what you've done before this and how you ended up in filmmaking and some kind of stuff you've done.
I'm the strong believer that it's in you. It hasn't been discovered, but whether you being an actor, being a performer, being any type of in the arts, it's within you. It's inside, and like we know, it's not encouraged. It's not. But eventually you will find it. It found me in Canada.
Right.
I was a graphic designer. I'm a computer graphics.
I should have mentioned this earlier. And an awful lot of graphic designers come to filmmaking.
Yeah.
You're not the first.
No.
And I've known quite a few. I can see
there's a connection. The art.
Yeah, the art.
There's the art.
That's creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm back old school when computers were in, and so I come from when it was called desktop publishing. Ooh. So you find yourself working with the media as a designer, and then you do editing and the whole bit. And then my attraction was I was introduced to, I realized that I liked being in front of the camera a lot more than I like being behind the camera. I love editing. That's really a huge passion with me as well, because putting pieces together, putting a whole thing together, it's really, that appeals to my personality.
It's the thing I love. I mean, I've got nothing to do with filmmaking, but if someone said to me, you can choose a career from, what would it be? It'd be editing. Because I think you're getting all this jumbled stuff, and suddenly
and then you organize
it's all coming to you, isn't it? You're the funnel.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's always been, to me, it's a beautiful process. It's a big, like you say, it's a big mess of ideas floating around, but you can see them put together, beginning, middle, end, and you can organize them. And it's just lovely. And it's a long process, and it takes time. But then that's when I said, because working in the media, and then you realize, and then you're involved already with the commercials and the whole bit, and then you realize, oh, this is fun. And then that's my transition was like that, from behind to the front. And then my first foremost passion became being an actor. Yeah. But I already had the graphic designing, editing background to support it. So there's always going to be something, like for example, because I had that graphic background, I was able to support myself in the acting field.
And we talked about this earlier, this is the problem,
it's
got to have
always
some
kind of backup, they call it, how do you support your acting, because as we all know, as any form of art or artistic expression, it's not about the money. It's about the work, about the story, about the end product. But when you're just starting, there isn't
it's difficult,
so you're creating a name, but your price is pretty low. And sometimes, I mean, for experience and to get all that, yes, we do work for free. Yeah. We do work and, exchange of something, give me a credit, whichever it is, but whatever gets you started. But yes, you will always have a second job, sometimes a third job. But because I had the graphics computer background, I was always able to support the passion, the art side of it.
Yeah. And it's, at what point, so you were getting more and more involved in it, there was just like a light bulb moment. It's just one day, it's like, I really want to do this, and just bang, it just took off.
Well, that's when I think it wasn't something that you discover. I think it's something you awaken. You always had it. You just were afraid to admit it or accept it because it's not encouraged. Your parents are always, we discussed this earlier, this kind of profession, because as a parent, you always want the best for your children. You want them to be secure. You want them to like not go through the same problems you went through, and you want them to have everything. So it's not something that is encouraged, very seldom encouraged. They're like, oh yeah, be an artist. I mean, because we all know, I mean, the concept of I'm a suffering artist is like, they don't want that. So this is one thing that when it comes to that, and I lost my train of thought because I always do this.
Well, no, it was just, when was the light bulb moment? Were you literally sitting at the desk one day, and putting something and thinking, oh, actually, I'm going to give this a go?
You know what, the light bulb is different because, like I said, it woke that interest, and I said, then you realize, oh, you always had it. But really, I have to blame my husband, current husband at the moment, for doing that, because he's the one that noticed my.
Did you say your current husband?
Yeah, this one.
Have you got plans for another one then?
I had a previous husband, was married before, very good friends, and but he's the one that noticed that I craved attention.
Oh, no, really?
Really? So he once suggested to me, maybe you should try some of these, local theater or something. So like this.
Oh, well, okay. So actually, it was. I know. I kind of guessed what you said. It was like Andram, we might call it, but just like a local theatre.
Yeah, well, yeah. We pretty much the theatre background actors. I have a theatre background, so he encouraged. Let's start small. Just join your local theatre and see what happens. And that's when,
it was a lot.
That was the light bulb. That was the spark that started the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, you start you do the live performance, the instant gratification. Oh my goodness, people are reacting to what I'm saying right now, right away. Because that's another difference between film and theater.
It's real. You can't go back from it.
Oh God, the thrill of the affecting an audience and getting the immediate reaction is just nothing to it, nothing like it either. And that's another thing that you have to train again when you do film, because you don't have that. You don't have, am I doing it right? So you have to, a lot of that, if you have the theater background training, then you trust your foundation that, yes, I will get the reaction, I will get the effect I'm looking for, because from what I learned.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, starting with the theater is always, I'm one of them. I believe strongly, if you want to do the acting, get a theater background. It will really give you the solid foundation for whichever way you want to expand.
And I suppose the beauty of doing that is knowing that when you're doing live, all theatres live, it's one shot, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is it. I mean,
and if you can do that, I suppose you can
handle anything.
You can handle anything.
It's like anything. For example, festivals. I mean, I always think of festivals as a live theater. Anything can happen, right? You're doing the screening. I mean, something can happen. The film can flicker. Something can happen.
Sound,
we've had anything. It's happened, so it's a live performance. So I don't see them as like an exhibition or something. No, it's just another way of doing live theater. I mean, you just gotta go with the blows and the surprises and just keep rolling and do that. And I think I love it. That's a part of the fascination again.
And how did the Lurking Man come about? What's the story behind that? How did you come across it?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a background going on here. We gotta go back a few more years back. I worked in a film by Jim Perry, written by Keith Rommel and Jim Perry. That was my introduction to the style of the novelist Keith Rommel.
Right.
He saw my work. We got familiar with each other via email and that. And then years later, he came, through via email. Hey, listen, I have this character, Kayleen, in the novel that I've written, and I have a rough copy of a screenplay. Would you be interested? Well, oh no, he didn't say that. He knew very well I was going to fall in love with her. But he said, would you like to take a look at it?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Knowing very well that I was going to jump at the chance. Yeah. So I was familiar with Keith's style of psychological suspense thriller, and because of my previous work in another film of, where he was involved.
Yeah.
And then when he came with this and I read it, lo and behold, oh my God, as an actor, because it's a very, a big arch piece.
Yeah, it's a big.
It's like a dream come true here for a performer, that to be able to have such a range, and because of that, and Keith and I wrote the script carefully from that moment on, because he needed a few rewrites because he's a novelist, and And so there's some kind of different dialogue, different technique when you write a novel to when you write a script. So we did that together. We worked on rewriting the script to make it into a film.
But at that point, at what point because at the then I'm guessing it was just the
this
acting.
is it. This is wonderful.
This is the acting you do. But then there's a point that you reach where you're like, as time goes on, like actually we're going to become much more involved in the filmmaking process.
When we did more and more of the story and developed the script, then of course it was a matter of finding our collaborators, and that's one of the reasons that we met with different producers, different people who do you bring, who can we work together on that, and there's always going to be difference of opinion, and on the producer side it's like, yeah, we'll give you the money and we'll become co-producers, but we need to change this, we need to change that.
And we talked about some of that. This is the problem, isn't it? And
that's the problem, is like you can either accept the changes because you need the money to fund the project and get it done, or you can just, what do? Just hold off or don't do it, or just, we gotta redefine the budget. We have to do a lot of these cuts and this and that, and then just go still with what you think is the story. And that was, with me, was always the story. Because I guess because of the early involvement I had with Keith and the story, we knew it very well, backwards, forwards, sideways. So we found that it was very difficult for other people to see it. And a lot of people feel very uncomfortable with dark subject matter, and they want to this is, we maybe should twist it a little bit, maybe find more happy, or, but it's not that kind of film.
And it's interesting because I think we talked about this the other day. There is always, or generally, is going to be compromises, and one of the films I used as an example was Logan, and I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as it was. I was really surprised. It was really, I don't know if it's a very good film.
Yeah.
But I wonder how much effort it took to get that through, because it's not your typical superhero film. And there's certainly no happy ending.
That's the thing.
Killings in it are really unexpected, some of them. But that's, to me, is the... it's not the norm.
No, it's not the norm. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because actually it turns out to be a very good film.
And that's a lot of the times, because film is very different. A lot of times that's happened, that the film that you have on the script is not the film that ends up on the screen.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. I mean, is it bravery that you like the Logan case, right? Oh wow, what if they didn't accept this film and they went with the other one? They have another superhero movie. But that's the thing. It's a chance. It's really sometimes a chance you take.
Yeah.
But I felt strongly about it. So that's the other thing. Your gut, your instincts. It's just an ugly name for your life experience, right? If something is telling you inside, don't do it. You need to listen, because that's really the only way your mind has to communicate with you. It can't tell you, listen, don't do it, but it shows you by sending you all these signals, and we call them instinct. We call them the gut feeling. Follow your gut. It's just your entire life experience telling you something. Trust yourself. And
I assume this happened all the way through, because at the end when you made it, and again we're talking off camera, it was your vision to make it the way you wanted it made. So even when you found the company to do it,
at every level there will be some, because people, again, they try to help you. They want to give you the best that you can be. They're thinking of your success. So I mean, avoid pain, avoid the what is different. So even through post-production there were all kinds of advice. Maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. But again, what do? Do you go with what you strongly believe is true, or do you go with the expert's opinion that, they've done it before, so they must know what they're talking about? But that's the thing. They're still human. You're still dealing with people. You're still dealing with opinions, and opinions are very, they're not fact. So do you follow your instincts? Do you follow your feelings? Do you follow, yourself? Trust yourself and just, go with it, because that's it. The temptation of there's a lot of doubt. There will be a lot of doubt, right? Oh, am I doing it right? Everybody's telling me no.
But in the end, you chose to do it the way you wanted.
I just had to do it my way. So I'm then, because this is the thing, you have to live with yourself. So whatever decision, whether it's the one you took or the one you accepted, it's got to be your choice. It's got to be your decision, and you got to live with it, because you cannot do ifs. What if? Could have, should have, would have. No. It's got to be, if whatever you decide, just go with it. Whether it's the original idea or somebody's, maybe your idea is not the right, but as long as you accept it and you believe it's your idea, that's fine. Make it your choice.
Because the danger would have been, of course, had you taken this advice and done it the way, you might be sitting here now saying to me, "It's a great film, Steve, but the ending or the spin in the middle," and
then you doubt it.
You're doubting it, and then and that will be forever, won't it?
That would haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing. It may not be what you started up with, but as long as it was your final saying, your final choice, you're fine. You're totally fine. But you have to live with it.
But so the vision, the finished article
is pretty much the same.
Is that 95%, 98%? What would you say?
Pretty much what we started with. Yeah.
Which is, I've got to say, because also
it's very unusual.
That's very unusual.
It's very unusual.
Because any filmmaker that I've spoken, well, not any, but just about any film I've spoken to, if I said to them, because I asked them the question, what is the percentage? They'll go, 85, 90.
Yeah. No, it's very high, and to the point that actually the registered copy of our script is you can actually, it's almost like a couple of added scenes for cinematic value, but really it's very close to the final product.
And when I've spoken again to several filmmakers, one that stands out, an example, the guy, a scriptwriter said to me, just imagine, Steve, you've got a book and it's in the script and he says, the first line is, "It's raining." It took you 2 seconds to write that, but you try and film that.
Yeah.
He said, so the question, my next question would be, is the look of the film the way you want it to be? Because that's very difficult to, I know you can have storyboarding and so on and so forth, but even so, is it just how you would like it to be?
Well, the way you handle that is that you're not that specific when you describe a certain area. So then you're open to like, maybe it's raining, maybe it's not raining. As long as it's not so much, don't focus, unless it's necessary for your scene that it be in a very specific location. Because if the differences between the novel and the rewrite, which is the adaptation, is that in the novel there is snow, a lot of rain and wind and all that stuff in the limbo design. Which in itself is going to present problems if you go through it. Yeah. I mean, we live in Los Angeles. I mean, how are we going to maintain the snow all through the entire filming? So that was one of the adaptations. Okay, we're not going to have any of that. So we have no snow.
And what about, so were you involved, I guess the answer is probably yes to this, in terms of location?
I had very little involvement in the sense that I knew what we needed to do because I had a wonderful team I worked with when I decided that, okay, I need to be an actor for this because it's a very dramatic piece and it's actor-based, character-based. That's when they said, okay, I cannot be holding the camera and handling the whole film. I need to focus on what I do, my job, which is be the best actor I can be. That's when I decided, okay, I need to hire a company to help me film the film. And I hired one of my best friends at the time, and she handled the production on the whole bit.
And this was quite interesting when we was talking about this. It's almost like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like you're buying a bespoke package to make a film.
Well, this is it, because we work together and we know each other, so there was, again, trust. I knew she could do it. I knew she was going to protect the film, she was going to understand the integrity of the film. But there's also the other things. We knew at one point, this is all I can take from you and this is all you can give me because my focus was different from yours. So there's no need to put each other on a situation where fight. Why? We know it's, this is, you gave me the best and I'm really happy with that. You guys did a magnificent job. And now when I got sidetracked from that, because of that wonderful job, we received a nomination from you guys for cinematography. Yeah. And that's part of...
It's a great look. I mean, it is a great look.
Beautiful. And that's part of the wonderful work they do. And she did for me. And then, but that was the end of the collaboration because, okay, now I have to take it to my vision. And that's when I took over. And it's like, okay, now I got the film I have in my head, that's the one I have to make. But there is some collaboration, there still is. Previously developmental, all this stuff. But then you have to know when, how far you take it.
And as you're the executive producer on this.
Yes.
Now, to simplify things, does that mean ultimately it's your money?
Yes. So
you're about to make the film. We just go back slightly.
Well,
you're about to make it. Everything's in place, and then suddenly, I say it's real. You're a filmmaker, so anyway, what's involved. But suddenly you've got to write the check, and it's all about to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you didn't say at any point, "Are we sure we're going to do this?" Or maybe I'm wrong, but was there any point when you were like, this is a big gig, now.
It is a big gig, and you take it seriously. You don't take it lightly. I mean, that's one of the reasons why you try to find co-producers on that, because it's a lot easier to play with other people's money. That's one, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the main advices. A lot of the courses give you about becoming a producer film. Get other people's money. Go into Kickstarter. Get other people to help you fund your film. But it becomes a really different ball game when it's your money. This is now, I'm not relying on anybody else's. It's not a fund campaign. This is me now. So yeah, you look at it with different sort of goggles. And then of course, you have to be a little bit more conservative about, okay, I know what I have, and you're asking for CGI.
Suddenly the tills are ringing. Yeah. And of course, I suppose the other thing with the person that holds the money and the people that are making the film is you've suddenly got the push me, pull me of art versus finance. And on top of that, you are, this should be lauded. Yeah. You want it to make this in a specific way, but you're also injecting the funds. So this, I suppose, what I'm trying to get at is...
Well, there's a fine line, because it's like all of a sudden you're dealing with friendship, emotions, and all that stuff, and then you have to be like business. So there's a fine line that, fortunately, I think I've learned through the years to separate it. In this industry, it's extremely friendly, extremely social, party here, party there. So sometimes that line gets crossed a lot. They're like, okay, I don't want to hurt their feelings, what do I do? But sometimes especially when you now all of a sudden you have to put physically you have to go, okay, I'm going to be the executive producer hat on.
It's your money,
and all of a sudden
we
got to be more business like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm done. And then I want to put the actor hat on. Oh, okay, how you doing? And we're back to having fun and the whole bit. But it's definitely, there's a distinction on the roles. There's the distinction on the responsibilities. And as long as you're very clear on what each one of them can do, I don't think there should be a problem. Like if I have to talk business again, okay, I gotta switch gears. All right, so this is the reality, this is what's happening. So you get, you have to accommodate on what is required.
And even with all the experience you brought to the table and everything you I'm sure very nuanced about how films should look and be made, did you learn anything afterwards? Would you do anything differently?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's one of the things, also one of the reasons I felt very strongly about doing it myself was because now I know what questions to ask. Because that was one of the difficulties that you have at the beginning if this is a very first project. I mean, I've been in the industry involved for 15 plus years. I had a pretty good idea what Element did and was responsible for. But now that doing it yourself is very different than watching it. So, and I had a pretty good idea what each one of them entitled, but I never had experienced it myself. So I didn't have all the questions, and I figured, okay, you know what? I can hopefully maybe do it myself.
Yeah.
Learn in the way, which is true. So there are a lot of things now that I have the questions, I know what to ask for the second time, and the second time is always easier.
Yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So the things I've learned, absolutely, you learn all kinds of things, and I know now not so much you learn to delegate. You're fine with delegating. It's just like find the trust to delegate to someone that you know is going to continue your idea, your project, what you have in mind. That was more the challenge. But there's trust is easy to give, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. But it's just now I know what to ask for. So now I'm going to get it. So it's absolutely, it's a major learning experience.
And what's after this? I'm sure if you can talk. You must. I assume have.
I do. I have 2 projects on pre-development, but this is something that I'm very clear about. Our industry is famous for what's next, right? And that's one thing I became very aware doing this, experiencing the festival run. You're not going to enjoy the process if you're always thinking about tomorrow. I mean, they're always pushing, what's next, what's next, what's next? What are you working on next? That you never focus on today. You never focus on the present. And I was so caught into the tomorrow, what I'm working on. Yes, I have the next project, it's in pre-development, I have the writer, I have the editor, I have the actors, the whole bit, but I'm not going to start just for that reason. Why? Because I want to enjoy this.
Because you're pushing this, aren't you?
It's
all about
invited,
this, I guess, yeah.
It's a big thrill. I mean, people can travel, but now have a reason to travel.
Right.
I have a reason. I mean, I lived in England. I mean, but now I have a reason to come here and visit, because I have the film now as my companion. But now I can get to be invited to festivals, meet people, meet other filmmakers, watch other people's work. It's very exciting and thrilling. And I became very selfish. I don't want anybody to take that away from me. And that would be me taking that away from me. So I'm not going to allow me to do it by all of a sudden, oh, look, we have schedules, I have a meeting. Oh, look, I got to, sorry, I can't go, I can't do the interview or something because I have some production phone calls coming in. No,
Let's
you people can't
wait.
wait. Because this is something I always tell to everyone. Don't do it. Why? Because if you're worried about deadlines, your deadline is the rest of your life. So enjoy the present. Because this moment here might never happen again.
And have you looked at other work, not necessarily here, it could be anywhere, but you looked at it on screen and gone, that's a really great idea. Is there something you can put your finger on and think, I really want to do that in my next film, or we really should try this?
Definitely, I think all filmmakers borrow from each other. Same with acting, I always say, if you see an actor do something that you like, copy it, because they copied it. Yeah. So it's always, so it's always been, and it's always wonderful to see other styles. Because everybody's different. It's cultural, whatever culture they come in, especially on an international film festival, not so much genre or local film festival. You get to see the style of filmmaking from another continent, and they are radically different, and they're beautiful, and things like, oh wow, you can do that. It's very, I love it. It's very teaching.
And is there a genre that you've not done that you would love to do?
I've done so many. I've done experimental, I've done horror, drama, rom-coms.
You've done rom-coms?
Yes, I have.
Can you honestly say of those genres? I'm sure.
Which is my favorite?
Yeah.
See, I grew up with television. I grew up with a family and father who loved films, and I grew up with the 70s and 60s. What we called back then sci-fi, which is now like the brain that wouldn't die, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those. Yeah. Or the Fly. Remember the original Fly?
Yeah.
Right. I grew up with that, and I love that. Twilight Zone.
Brilliant.
All that. Yeah. So I'm always been driven to that, to the sci-fi, to the supernatural. That I think is my first love, because I've always been attracted to it. Jesus, all these films. Svengoolie. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a channel that specializes in the old films. Oh well, Godzilla.
Oh yeah, it looks awful, but I know, yeah.
But they're fascinating. They're so awesome, right? They're fascination. I love that. So that was my first love. So now that I get to do it, oh man.
But is it more enjoyable than theatre?
Depends. Depends on the film. I don't really go to the movies much because for a drama or that, I can watch it on the TV.
I don't
but I do go out of my way when it's a sci-fi or it's lots of special effects. I want to see that world they invented.
So you're going to go and see Blade Runner then?
Oh God, you bet.
The new Blade Runner. It's had rave reviews,
isn't it? My God. Whether it's a bad or good review, I'll go because I love the special effects. I love the world they've invented. They sucked you in. They made you believe that, and I want to see that. Yeah. And I've done it for pretty much all the sci-fis, all the superhero movies. I have to go see them. Give me the big screen.
But I guess what I'm getting at is the difference, or one of the differences, hundreds of differences. One of the differences with film and theatre is there's a lot of hanging around with film.
Yeah.
But with theatre, you're there and you've got to do the role, haven't you?
Yes and no, because I love the theatre because of the instant gratification. But when the performance was done, I was done too. But then you got to do it again. And then you got to do it again. And then you got to do it again. Because you have the runs, right? This is a 3-week run show.
So is it tiring? Do you find it tiring?
To me, the theatre got to a point because I took the route of becoming a family first, and then family will always be mother, and the whole bit would always be number one. And that it was more of a question of scheduling.
Right.
That okay, listen, I have a house, I have responsibilities as a mom. I can't be doing rehearsals all the time. So then film became more easy, flexible in that respect. You go in, you do your scenes, you get out.
Yeah, I guess it's just. I wonder what it's like to do the hanging around, because that would drive me to distraction.
It's very hard when you are, in my personal experience, when you're a family member, it's a very social industry. They want to party here, they get together, they read through,
which is all
party,
great, I'm
the
sure,
wrap party, the closing party, the premiere party, the screening party. That makes it a little hard, because it's not like you're being antisocial or mean or something. It's like, you know what, I have responsibilities. I have to.
Yeah,
go.
yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, there's a guy, that Brian, the Irish guy, he said, do you want to go for a drink? And he likes to drink a lot. And I actually said, Brian, I've got a wardrobe full of T-shirts for going out drinking. I've done all that.
The PTA is
You know,
waiting.
I've done it all. You know, I've been. I do like a drink, but I can take it or leave it now.
Yeah.
I'm really no fuss.
Exactly. It's like, you know, like I said, you have other priorities.
Yeah.
And you won't sacrifice your profession. No, I won't. When I'm an actor, I'm 100%, you know, an actor. But if it comes 5 o'clock or wrap up time, okay, I'm
done.
I need to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm expected somewhere else, and I have responsibilities somewhere else. So it's definitely what they refer to as the balancing thing. You have to know when to move, when to stop, when to go, when, you know. But I mean, I'm selfish. I want everything. So I want the family life, I want the profession. So yeah, then you have to be more strict with your time and your demands.
Yeah, but I mean, so my opinion is that all filmmakers, all actors and actresses are driven. And if you're not, then you're, again, it's like being a story, you're in the wrong industry because you're not going to get anywhere. You've got to
You're
push.
not going to get, and there's a lot of obstacles and there's a lot of downs. And like you always hear the same metaphors. If you got to get up again, how many times? If you got kicked down 10 times, you got to get up 11. And it's over when you don't. But as long as you keep getting up, you fine. You have the foundation to make it in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. That's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Choices. How can you just stand there and listen?
Female 43 unresponsive at the scene.
Maybe this will help instead. Take the edge off. It wasn't your fault. It was an accident.
You are adapting to your new form. The doctors are delaying this on the other side as they needlessly try to save your life.
You're drunk! But I am sick and tired of you flaking on our son. I want Bo to have his mother.
I want that too.
Then pull it together!
Why do you hide in the dark?
Hi. The darkness is where I dwell.
I'm ready to be your mommy.
Resist what it is telling you to do.
Well, your sessions seem to be working wonders.
My sessions? I'm not sure I understand.
With Kayleen?
I'm afraid I haven't seen Kayleen since. I can check my calendar, but since the last time the two of you were in together.
Death has come upon your son. I coming for him.
What are you doing here?
I care about them too, Wilson.
Please, he's been through so much already.
Tell me. Is my son okay?
You cannot control me.
Hold on a second, Kayleen. Hold on.
Enjoying purgatory?
This is your last chance.
You insolent fool! You do not dictate terms!